Good afternoon, I am Pule Molebati, bringing you yet another emotionally stimulating episode of Bophelong, a place of hope. A very warm welcome to you. The story of Joyce has captured the heart of many and instilled hope to those who had succumbed to the pain of living with cancer. In her autobiography, she wrote, "I am glad God gave me this disease. Had I not been diagnosed with this illness, I would not have realized just how resilient I am." Joyce Maki Muchisi is no ordinary woman. She has a story to tell. From being told she only has 2 weeks to live, and 5 years down the line, she is still alive, albeit with stage 4 of breast cancer. Just how does she do it? Well, she invited the Bophelong team into her home and we documented her story of triumph. Take a look at this. She was at the peak of her career. Life had never been better. A clean bill of health, and finally about to start a job that she had been waiting for an entire year. It was in the early hours of the morning of 2008 that Joyce Makanuchisa's life took an unexpected turn for the worst. Eager to make a good impression at work, Joyce left home early, making her way to the office, only to never make it.
2008, April, I was on my way to work. And after getting off from the taxi, I was knocked by a car on my way to work. And that was my new job. I had expectations that I will be the person that I wanted to be. I will help my mom. I will take care for my son. But things didn't work out the way I thought. I had to go to Leratong Hospital where they had admitted, no, they didn't admit me. They have to put a, what do you call it, cement there. Mm-hmm. And then I had to use crutches for more than a month and 2 weeks. It was not easy because now my employer called me and told me that I mustn't come back anymore because of they found someone who's going to replace me.
It was after her release from the hospital that Joyce's health deteriorated. Her breast darkened in color. She started experiencing constant sharp pain on her chest. It was when she returned back to the hospital that Joyce discovered that she had stage 4 of breast cancer.
Still working with the crutches, and they diagnosed me with breast cancer. They did the biopsy and everything was just in a short period of time. I was busy healing. I was busy on a healing process. Yeah, the accident, now breast cancer.
After losing loved ones to cancer, Joyce feared for the worst.
When I was writing my obituary, that was when I was on a pampers, when my mom put the pampers on me, bathing me, and I couldn't even hold a teaspoon. I was depending on them to feed, to do almost everything to me. And seeing my mom and my son and my sister going through this, I said, let me just make things to be easy for them. Then, and easy for the community to know that it's not what they think that I am facing. Maybe I'm thinking they were thought maybe I had HIV or whatever, So I started writing, and I said, I Joyce Makinuchisa, born 19 what. I am going through this. I am going through breast cancer, and of which is stage 4. And the doctor said I left only with 25% to live. So I am making things to be easy. I want Tinzwalo to read my obituary. I want Tenjiwe to do the singing. I want Ndlandla to do the deco. And my pastor is not going to preach on my funeral. I will be preaching myself, because previously I had a disc for the charity events where I was motivating and talk to the people. Then I said, this CD, it will be the one that is going to do everything, not my pastor, not anyone.
Through this turmoil, Joyce kept her cancer diagnosis a secret. She could not handle seeing the pain on her mother's face, who was still dealing with her recovery from the car crash. The burden was too much for Joyce, so she confided in her best friend.
I've sent them an SMS letting them know that they've just found out that I have a challenge, breast cancer. I couldn't tell my mom. The only thing that I've said to my spiritual mother, I said to her, you are not going to tell my mom. You are not going to tell anyone. I will tell them at the right time. It took me 3 months before I can tell my mom that I am going through this, and I didn't know how to accept myself. I hated myself. I hated God. I hated everyone who was just near me, because most of them, they wanted me to tell my mom, and I wanted to deal with that before I can tell her.
When Joyce learned of a friend who had passed on shortly she was diagnosed with breast cancer, she knew she had to disclose her illness to her family.
But if it's me,
Asumulla amplela gore o na le cancer. O simolotse ka taba ya gore o mpiditse o na le ko kamoreng. Mpitse ke le ko kamoreng ke be ke tla ko yene. A re ma ka re Maki, a re go na le taba e ke batlang go go botsa yone. Ke re botsa. A re ganka go ra kere ke na le o simolotse ka HIV. Ke be ke makere o ka se ko wamplela gore o HIV. E yone ngwana ka e gana because ke a go tseba gore o motho o jwang. A ba re okay ma, ena ke go bolelelang yone, ke na le cancer, ke tshwere ke cancer. Modimo o motona, modimo o mogolo. Ke a rata the way modimo a go challenge-ileng ka teng. Ga bane bo bereka magareng ga ka le magareng ga wena.
Stay with us. We continue with this story shortly after the ad break. Welcome back, and thank you so much for tuning in. Joyce Machusa vows not to bow down to cancer, and in her battle, she has made it a mission to uplift those that are suffering with cancer. This is how she does it. Take a look.
After taking my chemo on December 2013, the doctor told
Joyce
me that
turned her most painful experience into treasure, which she had come to cherish. A book she wrote documenting her experience living with breast cancer. She has published her very first book as an author, A Walkable Journey, which she says is a title that best describes her experience.
Chance again to live and proclaim his goodness in the land of the living. We live with the pain. Tomorrow is severe headache. Next week is your hands. The other week is your chest. The next time is your back. So every day of our life, those are the side effects of it. And there's no mahala day. You only live with the pain. You need just to be strong and be positive, that nothing will stop you to do what you want to do. Pain is a pain, and up until this far, I have never allowed pain to stop me to achieve what I want to achieve. Yes, maybe for SABC and applying for a jobs and all that is not going to be an easy thing. The companies, they won't be able to deal with someone who will be away every time, every week, away to the hospitals and all that. But I live my dream. And we have a group, we have registered an NGO where we are going to make awareness of cancer, all types of cancer, not breast because we are facing breast, no, all types of cancer. We are going to make people aware that this is something that is real. Cancer is real and it attacks men and women, white and black. So in our black community, we are going to educate, we are going to train them, we are going to motivate them that they can live even if they have been diagnosed with this disease. And we are going to be there to those who cannot afford.
It is a passion for life that has gotten Joyce this far. Despite the lack of finances to pay for necessary treatment, Joyce has managed to live a happy life even after the doctor told her that she only had limited time to live. She defied the odds when she recovered from what she called her deathbed. From having been told she only had 2 weeks to live and living 10 years with breast cancer, just how does she do it?
I wanted to overdose morphines. I wanted to overdose pills, and several times, but didn't happen. I'm still here today. Now I know that God has a purpose, and the obituary, it changed a lot. So I should give the people the courage and inspiring them that if you have God in your side and if you have God within you, you can overcome everything.
Joyce's experience has not only taught her the importance of life, but also how to be a beacon of hope to others.
ngwanake o brave ene ntho e nkeditseng gore ke dumele gore o brave ke ga a ngwala buka e walkable journey. So eo yone ke yone e mpontshitseng gore o strong because o batlo ire batho ba ba tshwereng ke cancer ba ske ba lapa, ba ske ba inela gore no go fedile ka rona, ba tshwantse ba tswelele pele. So nna ke malakaletsa bophelo bo bo matla, bophelo bo e leng gore modimo o mo file matla a gore a kole a walkable journey about cancer ya gagwe.
The women in her community have drawn strength from Joyce's experience. She has become more than just a cancer survivor. She is now set on educating the community about cancer.
I have a lot of support from the church. I have support. Community, yes, I do have support. My son, I love him so much. My mom, my friends, they are always there. The NGO is not yet on motion, but very soon. The second book is for me.
Joyce is currently writing her second book, which aims at life after facing death.
Hombona ke le so le nna ke maketse fela ha ke sentse ne ke phela ke makaletse mohau, because most of the people ba ne ke na le bone ba tsamaile modimo ba nkile ne, but now I'm still here, I'm still surviving. So I believe and I trust that God has a reason, and my assignment on this earth is not completed.
On the other side of the ad break, we chat to media personality who shares his cancer survival story with us. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. I am now joined by a radio and television personality as well as Cancer Association of South Africa Ambassador, Mark Pilgrim.
Good to be on the show. Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Pleasure.
Mark, you were only 18 years old when you were diagnosed with testicular cancer, and that was 26 years ago.
You're making me sound very old.
Oh, you can never be too old. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. I did my hair just for you today.
And that was 26 years ago, and you're still here going strong. Well, the question I would like to begin with is what is testicular cancer?
Well, testicular cancer is the most prevalent cancer for men between the ages of 18 and 34. And most of us are like ostriches with their head in the sand. When you pick up a lump in your body which you know shouldn't be there, you ignore it because you always think, give it a couple of days, it'll disappear. And that's the biggest mistake young guys can make, and that's the mistake I made. That my testicles started swelling. I can't tell you whether it was days, weeks, or even a month or two because I ignored it. But eventually it was the size of, I can only imagine and recall, an avocado pear. And that's when I realized I have to go to the doctor and have it seen to. And that was the start of something that changed my life.
Mark, so there was no particular symptom? You didn't feel any pain? You just noticed that you looked different?
So often with cancer, it's not the cancer itself that makes you sick, it's the treatment. So the chemotherapy is often what makes you really, really ill.
Yeah.
So in terms of pain down in that area, no, I had no pain whatsoever. But what I didn't realize was every single day I didn't go to the doctor, it was spreading through to other parts of my body. So by the time I was diagnosed, I had stage 4 testicular cancer. So it had spread to my lungs and my kidneys as well. If I had gone to the doctor sooner, the moment I knew something was wrong, I might have stopped it spreading to other parts of my body.
So it's always important to, when you notice that there's something different with you, to go check it up. So Mark, with the insight we saw earlier on with Joyce's story, she found it very hard to disclose. How did you do it?
Well, I think for a guy, I'm talking about a very sensitive area of my body.
Yeah.
These days I do motivational talks about it. I've got no problem saying that I've got one testicle, that's okay. I've got 2 gorgeous girls, and despite the jokes from my friends, the girls are mine.
Mark.
So
they're always teasing you about the girls not being yours.
Yeah, my nickname is Gonad. I'm here to tell every single guy that's going through it and watching possibly right now, 1 works as good as 2. Don't be ashamed.
No. So it does not affect your fertility?
It does affect your fertility, and we didn't think that I would be able to have kids naturally. But there is always still a chance you can have kids. It does reduce your chance of having kids naturally. But once again, I'm living proof that it can still happen.
And the other thing about treatment, cancer treatment, is that it changes you completely and physically, most importantly. And with Joyce, she had to let go of her being a woman. And she says, I used to admire my hair. I idolized my hair. But then there was a point where I didn't have hair anymore. And people looked at me differently in the community. Did you come across a situation where people looked at you, why is this guy bald-headed?
Well, when I had cancer back in 1988, you didn't see many white bald guys around. It wasn't cool and fashionable back then. So I got a couple of stares. But I think it's much worse for women. Guys can take their hair off and it's fine. I think for women, and men have done this to women because we objectify women. It's our fault that women are so conscious about the way they look. So the men are to blame. But I fully understand what women go through. And that's why when we do the annual Cancer Shave-a-thon, it's really nice to see women with long hair cutting their ponytails off, because that gets weaved and turned into wigs for women that are going through cancer, which is a great thing to do.
And now that you mentioned the other things that organizations out there are doing to empower women and assist cancer patients, is there something particular that you are doing as an ambassador for the Cancer Association?
Well, I'm very involved in the Cancer Shave-a-thon, which I just mentioned a moment ago.
And I saw you rocking a Speedo on one of your pictures on the website.
The Speedo was actually the Daredevil run,
Yes.
which is for awareness of testicular cancer. We had about, I think it was 10 or 12,000 men around the country running a 3-4 kilometer race in nothing but a Speedo and a pair of tackies. I was also, for the last 2 years, I've been the media spokesperson for Movember, which is in November when all the guys grow moustaches to create awareness about men's health as well. So it's the way it works. Once you've been afflicted by something, you tend to get involved in the organizations that promote awareness about it.
Yeah. And Mark, where can people get support? I mean, there's somebody at home right now that's watching and maybe they know of someone who's also diagnosed with cancer, or they have been diagnosed with cancer themselves. Where do you even begin to seek support?
Well, your immediate support base is your friends and family. That's where you get the most love. The great thing is there are many organizations out there that can help you, one of them being the Cancer Association. You can just give them a call depending on where you are, which area. They've got a website as well, cancer.org.za.
Yes, and you mentioned an area, there are people in townships, in rural areas. How accessible is it for them to access these information?
Well, one of the things that the Cancer Association does, and that's why we do these big drives, say the Cancer Shave-a-thon, because a lot of that money that's raised, we're talking about 7-8 million rand, goes into creating teams that go out into the rural areas. They create awareness about the disease and also offer support. So it's all about raising money to get those teams to go out into all the areas.
That's true. And when I sat down with Joyce and we spoke about her whole experience, she also spoke about stigma. There is a huge stigma that's associated with cancer, and I think most cases you find it in the black communities, and she also pointed out that black communities still are yet to learn about what cancer is. Is there also stigma in the white community as well? Because I don't want to create a division.
I think there used to be much more. I think less so. You know, someone like Lance Armstrong, you know, for many no longer a sporting hero because of the whole drug scandal he went through. But he's the one that really spoke about testicular cancer. He stood on a platform and said, I've gone through it, it's okay. So there's not much of a stigma as there used to be. But absolutely, you know, especially for men with testicular cancer, some find it embarrassing. And women who have to lose
their
a breast.
breasts as well.
But I spoke to a cancer survivor on my radio show a couple of years ago. She had a double mastectomy, and she said the way she looks at it, the medical aid paid for a boob job. That was great.
That's absolutely a positive outlook on the diagnosis itself. And how do you say your day-to-day coping with cancer is, so that you're able to motivate and inspire someone out there? Because like I said earlier, you look really great, and had I not went out there and dug deep and did my research, I wouldn't have said, oh, Mark looks different.
You can't see that I only have one testicle.
So I don't want people walking around like they've got a cancer cloud hanging over their head. What is that motivation that you can share with our viewers at home?
You know, the positive side of the whole thing is I survived. I am a survivor. That's the most thrilling thing to be able to tell someone. That disease tried to kill me. I beat it. I'm here today because I won the battle. And if anything, it changed my career path. I was going to become a chartered accountant. And because of cancer, I realized life is short. I want to live my dream. My dream was always to be on radio and television. I always thought it was impossible to do. After going through chemotherapy and having cancer, I decided to follow my dream, and for the last 20 years, I've been on radio and TV.
I always say life is all about resilience and your will to live. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming through this afternoon.
Thanks for having me on the show.
And that's how we wrap up our program for today. Do not despair. We'll be back here next week, same time, same place. And you can catch the repeat tomorrow at 12:30. Remember, you can find us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Bophelong Show, or email us bophelong@sabc.co.za. As from me and the Bophelong team, it's goodbye for now.